So over the last couple of weeks, we've been having a look at my latest project, the 6mm Napoleonic project. And this week, I thought we'd go for something slightly different as a bit of a change of pace for a week. And you've probably guessed it, we're back to my 2mm Lord of the Rings project. Now, a couple of weeks ago, my friend Andy from my Wargames Club printed off some reinforcements for me. So today I'm going to be doing a little showcase video of those reinforcements and let you see the last couple of units that I needed for my force for Pelennor Fields. And that is now all ready for January's Lardy Day event, which will be taking place at my local games club. So without further ado, let's jump down to the table and let's check these reinforcements out. So first up, we have a unit of cave trolls with their orc escorts, and I'm really pleased with how these have come out. They are exactly what I envisaged when I was thinking of how this unit would look on the table. I've got these cave trolls 3D printed from my friend Andy, and the rest of the figures are some of the skirmish lines and other various sort of light, sort of irregular troops from Warbase's 2mm line. So we'll have a quick look at these on the turntable, and then we'll move on to the next unit. So next up we have the Witch King, and I've got two models of him here. Both he's mounted on a Nazgûl, and the first he's on the ground. Obviously he's landed and he's perhaps looking to attack a unit or maybe just command from a distance. And then the model on the right there is him in flight mode. Now, I really enjoyed actually working out the colour scheme for these, and I've gone for sort of a dark grey on the wings, and then used a GW wash. I believe it was a Bale Tan green, and then on top of that did a little bit of a sort of a light dry brush over the top. And to get the black to pop out without painting it grey, I actually used Luftwaffe uniform from Vallejo paint and dry brushed that over, and it caught it really nicely. And I think it's just toned down the green on the wings as well, so it's it looks more like a sort of a fleshy green than necessarily a stark green. Now, I'll need both of these for the game, as the Witch King can either be landed or in flight, and I'll probably do a video on the sort of element of the Witch King that or the way I'm using him within the game. I might do a separate video on that. But anyway, let's have a look at these on the turntable, and then we'll move on to the final element that will be on the table for Saruman's forces. Sorry, not Saruman, Sauron's forces. And just before we move on, I should say that the bit that I'm used here to give the Nazgûl the look that it's in flight is just a small bit of acrylic tubing rod, and I've just cut, I think it's about 20mm, maybe a little bit more than that, just cut off a small section there, glued it to the base, and then glued the figure to the top of that. And it's not perfect, but it does the job that I want. So let's move on to the next unit. Okay, and the last unit for Sauron's army are in fact the Siege Towers, and I have to say I am absolutely in love with these Siege Towers. The detail on the print is fantastic. My friend Andy has done an incredible job, and for the keen-eyed among you, you will just see at the back of each one 2 cave trolls pushing. So that's right, Andy printed me off so many cave trolls that I actually had enough to put 2 on each tower to push them. And then I've just used, again, some small 2mm figures from war bases just to populate the base a little bit to look like there is units moving along with the siege towers. Now, within Strength and Honor, there isn't really any specific rules around siege towers, so I've kind of developed my own sort of house rule for how these are going to work. And essentially, when they get up to Minas Tirith, while they're in base contact with Minas Tirith, for every turn they are, the Gondorian player will have to take a setback card. Now, the Minas Tirith will get a chance to fight back, and we'll come to that after a quick look at these on the turntable. Now, as I said, we really couldn't put these on the side of Sauron without giving Minas Tirith something to defend itself with. So the final reinforcement for this update is coming up right now. So many of you will remember Minas Tirith from the videos that I've done previously, and today I have essentially, I think, finished Minas Tirith as far as I'm concerned. I've added on lots of windows, as you can see now, and I think it just feels as a city a little bit more alive than it did previously. But as I mentioned in the last clip, we need a little bit of defensive capabilities for Minas Tirith, and that is what we've done. So if we just head up, we will see Minas Tirith in its glory, and we're going to focus in on some of the battlements. So if we just scan in now, we'll see that we've got some catapults. I'm just going to pause there because we can zoom in a little bit more, I think, and we can really see these catapults, trebuchets. Can't remember quite exactly what they're called, but I think they look fantastic. Now, on one side we have, I think it's something like 8 on one side and 7 on the other, and essentially when the as the siege towers move closer, the Gondorian player is going to get an opportunity to roll a dice per turn. And I think maybe a roll of a 5 or a 6 will allow them to essentially take out a siege tower per turn every time they roll a 6. And that will be a nice little, I guess, objectives probably the right word for it. That the Sauron player is trying to get those siege towers to Minas Tirith to take Minas Tirith. Of course, Minas Tirith is going to defend itself with these trebuchets. So that is really pretty much it for the update. We will just have a quick scan across so that you can see some more on the other side as well. And I think they just bring a nice pop of colour, and they just, again, give the city more life. So that's it, as I say, for this episode. Thank you to everyone who has supported the channel recently, whether it's just by watching my videos, by commenting, or in fact subscribing as well. It's really, really encouraging to see the channel grow, and to get the feedback that I do is just really humbling as well. Obviously, 2mm Lord of the Rings, it's not over yet. We will be doing some more videos in the future, but we'll be heading back next week probably to some more 6mm Napoleonic goodness, although we do have another discussions video coming up as well soon, so we'll see which one happens next week. But anyway, until then, take care, stay safe, and we'll see you soon.